Hello and welcome back to this course. In this video, we are going to be looking at how to use inline function definition. So now we have been working with lambda functions, but there are some times that you might want to just define your own simple function without using lambda. So we are going to be working through how you can use inline function definition to achieve a very concise goal. So now we are going to be using the normal function definition, and I'm going to just use the def keyword, and I'll call the function name maybe is even or maybe even. So I'm going to return even numbers, and I'm going to pass in an item. So, and here I'm going to write that it should be the numbers that their modulus 2 equals 0, right? So this is a full-fledged function. So, and here I'm just going to return these numbers, right? And I'm going to call this function here even, and I'm going to pass in 2, and I'm going to print as well. So we have true. Okay, so now I can use this even as I can use this even method in a map function. So we can use it again in a map function, and I can print a mapped version of a list, and I can pass in that method and pass in the number list that we have. Okay, so now I'm going to save, and you can see we have just boolean values here: true, true, and false, false. Okay, so now there are some times that inline function definitions come in handy. So if you were to do this the normal way, you may have to move this to another line. But now that you're just doing something that is very simple, you can go for an inline function definition, and that will make your workflow faster. So now I'm going to define another function, and I can just call it greeting and colon and my return statement, all on the same line. So what do I want to return? Well, I want to return the formatted version, the formatted string. Okay, now I didn't open and close my parentheses. So I'm going to return a formatted string that will greet my users. Okay, so, and I'm going to enter the first name and the last name. So I'm just going to use L name, and I'll just add my hello string here. All right, so assuming I'm getting my inputs dynamically, so I'm going to comment all of this out, and I'm going to say that f name is equals an input, and then a string, enter your first name, right? And the last name also will be another string. So I'll copy this and paste. So here I have my last name, and I'm going to say enter your last name. Okay, now after I do that, then I'm going to call my function, and I'll call function here. So I'll call greeting here, and I'm going to pass in the f name and the last name, and I'm going to set this greeting to require 2 arguments, so I can call it f for first name and l for last name. Okay, so, and or I can just change it to first name and last name. So here you find out that we are just using the same naming convention, but I'm going to make a little tweak to some of this. So I can call this fn for first name and then ln for last name. So now I'm going to change this to fn and ln, because this function is getting the parameters is using to work from the function call. So at the place of function call, we are passing in these two variables, and at the place of function execution, we are passing in these variables here, right? So again, we are going to run this, and here we have, please enter your first name. Well, my first name is Perpetua, and enter your last name. My last name is Honor. So, well, we are not printing our greeting yet, so I'm going to print it so that we have it on the terminal. And again, I'm going to save and run this. So I'm going to run it again. So my first name is Perpetua and my last name is Honor. And now it says, hello, Perpetua Honor. So now we have created a full function, a full greeting function on just one line of code. So you can decide to, instead of using your Lambda function, create a function that is inline, and that will also make your workflow very fast. So I hope you understand this and you understand how you can use inline function greeting. So another important point that I would like to make is that when you are writing an inline function and you want to write an if statement, you do not need to use your colons to separate the if and else statement. For instance, I'm going to say that um, I'm going to define another function, and I'm going to say, well, maybe print out. Have I used that before? Okay, so I can print even or odd. So, and I'm going to open and close my parentheses. So I am going to say return the string even if n modulus 2 is equals 0, else we return odd. Okay, so this n is complaining because we didn't state it here, so we are working with n, and now this should work perfectly fine. So, and here I'm going to print another variable. So I'm going to print the output of this, and I'm going to pass in a number 2. So now I'm going to clear my terminal, and I'm going to comment out all of this. So now it returns even. So now let's pass in an odd number, and now it returns odd. So right now, Python understands that you're saying that it should return even if this is 0, and return odd if that is not, if that does not meet the condition that you stated, right? So we are writing our if statement and else statement here, but we are not adding our colons like we used to do when we are writing a regular if and else statement. So I believe you understand this, and I hope this is not confusing in any way. So thank you so much for watching this video, and in our next video we are going to be working with recursive function. See you in our next video.